And what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. This is episode number 86. I am back today with Hitmaster.
Hello.
We're recording this episode early in the week again because I will be gone most of the week, and so we're just going to get it out of the way now. So if there's some news that may have came out between us recording this and when it comes out that we don't cover, that is why. We will cover it in next week's episode. But we got a lot to talk about. The Chicago Street Course is in the books again, and we're going to talk about everything that went down there. Some silly season stuff to go over. Some actually pretty big silly season stuff to talk about. Including another one of the out of job SHR drivers finding a ride next season. Then at the end, we'll preview Pocono. So, should be a good one there. Let's jump right into it, though. We first got to talk about the Chicago Street Course. We'll talk about the Xfinity race first. It was a pretty exciting race in the Xfinity race. I was actually pleasantly surprised. We got to see how the street course actually would work as a track without it being rained on, because it was nice and sunny, warm, all that sort of stuff. It was some good racing too. Mainly, including on the restarts. There was a lot of good restarts. There were some big wrecks too, which you get with the Xfinity series and all that. Kyle Larson and Shane Van Gisbergen battled back and forth most of the day. With Austin Hill and Jesse Love, the Childress cars, getting in the mix late as well with some good pit strategy. But in the end, they were no match for our boy Shane Van Gisbergen. He was able to pull away late, with Larson falling back due to some track position problems, and SVG was able to get his third win in the Xfinity Series this season. And look out, because Shane Van Gisbergen, he's not a great oval racer, but he's getting better. But there are 2 road courses in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So he could easily make a round of 8 run in the Xfinity playoffs. And I think that would be very interesting to see how that could shake everything up. So, not saying he will win those road course races. They're Watkins Glen and the first round, and then the Roval. He could win those for sure. He could obviously win an oval as well. I'm not saying he can't win an oval, but he hasn't yet. But he's getting there, so we'll see. That was the Xfinity race. Nothing else too crazy. Just it was an Xfinity race. Then we get to the Cup race.
I realized something about the Xfinity race, and it was that you picked Shane Van Gisbergen to win the race.
I did, and I was right.
I for the Xfinity series. Those 2 men had a great battle. And I guess Kyle Larson said that was one of the best clean battles he's ever had. Nobody bumped each other. Nobody, wrecked on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean...
Oh, yeah, it was excellent racing, because, Kyle Larson is a good road course racer, too. But Shane Van Gisbergen can take everybody to school on the road courses. So it was really, really cool to see them duke it out. So, really cool. But then we get to the Cup race. Why did it have to rain again? God damn it. So we get like 5 or 6 laps into the race, and everybody's like, oh, there's a thunderstorm cell coming. Oh no, there's rain coming. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they were saying, oh, it's finally going to be dry. We're finally going to get to see how it all works out. It's going to be great. And then a rain cell came through.
Well, I mean, it's Chicago. It's like their entire... I'm sorry, Ann. It's like their entire hockey team sucks.
We got we got some good stuff at the beginning. Shane Van Gisbergen had a strong start, winning the first stage. It looked like nobody was really going to challenge him. But then NASCAR decided to pull another one of their fun, inconsistent officiating moves. So let's set up a little bit of a pretense to this mini rant here. I picked Shane Van Gisbergen in our fantasy league this week.
Get ready, guys, because Tyler's about to go off on NASCAR.
I
Yeah.
was very well expecting this to be a good pick, and it was a good pick in the first stage. He won the first stage. Looked like he was running really well. This was going to be it. We're going to get another win, fantasy. This is going to happen. But it started raining near the end of the first stage. No big deal, right? Things. NASCAR has precautions in place set up for good for racing in the rain, or if it's really bad rain, we will red flag the race and it'll be okay. But they restart the second stage before red flagging the race. But it starts to downpour, and Chase Briscoe has to slide into a corner and take out Shane Van Gisbergen. Oh, but Chase Briscoe's fine. Chase Briscoe continues on, but Shane Van Gisbergen, on the other hand, had to finish in dead last, and we get no points.
And then what happened, Tyler, after that?
And then, right after the wreck, they red flagged the race for rain. Swear to God, you knew the rain was falling. Multiple cars had spun out before you red flagged the race. Corey LaJoie, Chase Briscoe, and many others had spun out. And they did a double file restart in the rain. Why do you wait that long? Why do you wait until my fantasy pick wrecks out before you decide to actually red flag the race? Number one, it's a complete fuckery of my fantasy. Two, it's a safety hazard. But you're saying, oh, it's all about safety, all about safety. No, it's not apparently all about safety, because you let a car wreck for no reason.
What place are you in fantasy?
I was 13th going into the week. I'm about to check where we are now. Hold on.
Tyler's anyways, in another fantasy this week.
Anyways, then we got a long rain delay, and of course the constraints about we fell to 16th, so we lost 3 spots. I think a lot of people in our league did pick Shane Van Gisbergen though, so that helped, but still sucks. Still very much sucks. But anyway, we got a long red flag, which was good for me because I was able to watch the rest of the race, because I was originally planning on not watching any of the race because we were driving, and with the rain delay I was able to watch them. But then the thought of darkness came in, and the city of Chicago came out and said that the race had to end at 8:20 local time, which is 9:20 Eastern time. The race didn't restart until a little after 7:30, because they got the engines fired, and then it poured again. There were puddles around the track. There was lightning. Whatever. I swear to God, this race is cursed. I mean, 2 years in a row, downpours, shortened due to darkness. But on the darkness part, though, okay, I get it. The rain happens. Can't really get around it. Why are you starting a race at a track with no lights? Why are you starting the race at 4:30 Eastern? Start the race earlier in the day. Start it earlier. Every NASCAR race used to start at like 1 o'clock Eastern time. Start it then. They would have had much more time to get the race in, and they would have gotten the whole thing in. Had that not been an issue.
Started at 11 o'clock. At 11:05 even. Of course, their time. It would be 12 o'clock our time. So, technically, it would have been good for us to watch it. And again, you would get in all the laps.
But anyways, yeah, so now darkness is a factor. So we get racing. And the rain just made the race a complete crapshoot again. Kyle Larson wrecked out because he locked the brakes up going into turn 6, ended up finishing 39th. Got stuck in the tires. Turn 6 got a lot of drivers. Chase Briscoe had a really, really bad day. Josh Berry wrecked a bunch of times. Had really, really bad races. And a few other drivers did too. Everybody was sliding all over the place. I mean, it was just bad all over the place. Um, and then we got down to the end of the race, and they started doing a clock to the end of the race. And late in the race, it came down to some drivers came down and put slick tires on, including race leader Christopher Bell, who had been starting to run away with it, with both SVG and Larson out now because they were the two favorites. But a couple drivers who didn't stay out were Alex Bowman and the new fan favorite going into the end of the race, Joey Hand from the RFK camp in the 60 car. He had the lead late, and it looked like he could possibly go and get the win. It looked like it could possibly be a win. I was like, holy shit, we're going to get a new winner again. What is all this going to be about? The other driver was Alex Bowman, who is in a desperate need for a playoff spot. The question was, though, I mean, originally the wet tires were better, but as the race went on, the slicks got better, and Christopher Bell made a big run at it at the end, trying to get up there and pass, and he ended up getting wrecked by none other than our friend Recky Spinhouse. Yay! Well, Martin Truex too, but mostly Recky Spinhouse. So his day is done. And then up front, Bowman flew past Hand at when he got the chance. I mean, Bowman was flying around there. Tyler Reddick tried to make a run at as well, but he got in the wall late, which allowed Bowman to pull away and get a darkness shortened win.
I looked up the last time Alex Bowman won a race. Just think of this: 80 races since the last time he won the race.
That was, I believe, the Las Vegas race. Spring.
2022. 2 years worth of nothing. You thought Chase Elliott's no wins last year was suckish. Think of Alex Bowman fans right now. They're getting some bourbon up in this. They're getting some bourbon. They're probably drunk on the floor right now.
Yeah, probably waking up naked on the bathroom floor like Bowman was this morning, probably.
Yeah, most likely.
But no, I don't mind a Bowman win. I would have loved to see Joey Hand win just for the funnies, and that would have been cool. But he's still got a solid fourth, which isn't terrible. But Bowman winning, I don't mind. He's a new winner. He gets into the New Year's Eve Spectacular. He's the 17th driver to get in, and all 4 Hendrick cars are now in, so that's something. They're also all into the playoffs, so could be interesting to see what happens there.
They weren't the first organization to get in, because like they said at the beginning of the race, Penske was the first organization to get all of their cars in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they really care, but no, that's really good. 17 drivers in the event now. So broken 80 race losing streak. That's huge. That really is huge. And there were some tempers after the race as well. On the cool down lap, Bubba Wallace spun Alex Bowman. This was after Bowman's failed attempt at a burnout because the track was still a little too slick. And then also Chase Elliott and Daniel Suarez got into a little bit of a conflict at the end because coming to the checkered flag, Suarez bumped into Elliott and Elliott spun out, costing Elliott a couple of positions. So on the cooldown lap, Elliott got revenge and brake checked Suarez on the cooldown lap. So we'll see if anything stems from that. Nothing currently has. But
I mean, Daniel Suarez usually isn't a guy that would do that kind of thing. Just because I'm an Elliott fan doesn't mean I'm going to hate on him. Because I'm not that kind of person. But I feel like Chase Elliott is a little bit right at the same time because his streak of finishing in the top 20 was in jeopardy. And when Daniel Suarez did that, that streak went away. So, two streaks got broken: an 80 race win streak and a top 20 streak. Both by Hendrick.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, a lot of people are calling this a great race, and the racing was good. Like, I cannot lie, there were some good battles all over the place. The restarts were really fun to watch, though they were single file after the rain delay, which was didn't make them as fun, but for safety reasons, they kind of had to do that. Um, but I think this is a sign from the gods to not have this race back next year. When it is monsooned on 2 years in a row and it just turns it into a complete crap fest, I think that's when you know you can't come back. Okay? And if you try again next year, the same thing is probably going to happen. I don't mind. I think I said this last year after the street race. I don't mind having a street race. I think it works out really really well. But try somewhere else. If the street race every year is going to be monsoon on, how about you move it to Las Vegas so they can actually have some water, um, and stuff. Actually do something good for the environment or something like that. Or maybe IndyCar does street races in St. Petersburg. You can do races there, or some other city that doesn't have anything already currently set up. So
I was thinking maybe keep a street course, but move it just a tiny bit where they pass the Chicago Pier, the Navy Pier. I mean, look at NASCAR '09. You had a freaking fantasy track that was legit the Chicago Pier. I know you can't do that in real life, but still, let fans make it. Let it happen.
I don't know. I don't know.
Or get it near Soldier Field. Or heck, you put a racetrack at LA Coliseum, put it in Soldier Field.
Right?
There you go. You got a race.
That could work, but will they do it? Who
No,
knows? Probably
no.
not. They'll probably keep doing the same thing year after year because City of Chicago brings in a lot of revenue. So that's what's going to end up happening.
Then they should have not have gotten rid of Chicagoland.
True. True. Very true. Anyways, though, that's really all we had to say about the street course. Unless you had any other remarks, Hitmaster.
About the Xfinity race, when you said Joey Logano is taking over Haley Deegan's car. So, I was right, wasn't I? It's not Haley Deegan that is the problem. It's the freaking car.
Logano did not run well at all. No. But I think it's a little bit of a mix of a driver and a car issue. Let's just be honest here.
I will be right back.
Because Logano did not run well at the Cup race either. So,
True, true.
anyways, that's going to do it though for the street course. So we'll put it once again in the books. Now, let's talk about some silly season news. We got some big stuff. Actually, we can go over some penalties that came from Nashville that we couldn't cover in last week's episode. We'll cover them in this week's episode. Carson Hostfarb was fined $50,000 and docked 25 points for wrecking Harrison Burton at the Cup race in Nashville. And then for the truck race, both the 42 and the 88 teams were fined for loose lug nut infractions. So, nothing new there, but they got penalized for that. So that was the only penalties coming from Nashville. We will do these penalties from the street course probably next week's episode, if there are any. I don't know if there will be, but also some other news. One of the NASCAR's executives, Darrell Wolf, is going to retire at the end of the season. So that's big stuff there. The other stuff I kind of want to wait for Garry to come back to talk about. So, I do have some sad news though. So last week, day after the 4th of July, we were planning on going. I was up north, and we were planning on going to a new track. I was planning on being able to review that track and talk about it here on the podcast as well. We were all set to go. Then, the day of the race was really rainy, so we didn't go. They canceled the race the day prior, actually, due to the inclement weather, because the people that were bringing the track on, like putting the event on, had to drive really far, and they didn't want to mess any of that up. But it still kind of sucked. We didn't get to go. They only race events like once a month, too, which is really annoying. So we'll try and go maybe later in the year, but that sucked. That one really, really sucked. But didn't get to go, so you don't see our track review. We're not going to talk about it here. However, I am visiting a different track that we'll talk about on next week's episode. Tentatively. I'm going to say tentatively this time, not for sure, so that we can not screw anything up. We're trying to go, me and Ann are trying to go to Owasso Speedway. So, hopefully going to go. Hopefully going to see some good racing. I'll try and vlog it, and I will try to do a review. But you also hear about it on the podcast, hopefully next week. So, should be good there. We're hoping that happens. The weather looks good. So, barring anything catastrophic, we should be going. So, that's really good. I have some other sad news. Hooters and Hendrick Motorsports cut ties. As you guys know, I have a Hooters NASCAR jersey for Chase Elliott that I got at the MIS race in 2019. I also have a sweatshirt that I got at the MIS race last year. It's the Night Owl one. It looks pretty cool, actually. They cut ties. It's just another sign of Hooters failing, really, because I think they just couldn't afford to keep up the sponsorship, or there was kind of like a falling out between Hendrick and them. Because Hooters is kind of failing as a company, it's not kind of failing, they are failing as a company. I mean, you don't really see much from them anymore. They're kind of just falling out of relevancy. And it kind of sucks. Hooters been with NASCAR for quite a while now. Way back with the days of Alan Kwiecki. Later with the 11 car for Brett Bodine. Then they came back to work with Chase Elliott. That was way back in like 2017. They started working with him. They've been with him for a long time too. Now they have cut ties. It really does suck. I'd like them to come onto a new team, but I don't see that being a possibility. Just because, Pepsi cut ties as well, and they're gone, and all that kind of stuff. So that does kind of suck. But also at the Chicago Street Course, NASCAR unveiled their electric prototype car that they plan on racing at some point. Let's see if I can find some news about that. Let's see. Yep, so they unveil it at the street course. Yeah, so it looks like they're trying to get into battery electric vehicles. So they unveiled their prototype, developed by the Swiss startup team B-Comp. I don't know if that's supposed to stand for anything or not. Oh, nope, that's an ad. I don't want that. So that's what it looks like. That's what the prototype looks like. Now, it's a lot different than what will probably be used in the future, but I could see something like this being used. The spoiler probably won't stay the same. They'll probably adjust it, but otherwise the body looks about what it could be. Looks like it helps reduce CO2 emissions by 85%. So they want to be net zero by 2035. Doubt that's going to happen. But that's cool. Hopefully we see some more developments. It definitely does look cool. It definitely does look promising. I definitely would want to see that in the future. But IndyCar also this weekend, going off a little bit off topic, but still kind of on topic. The last week, there was their first race. They ran Mid Ohio this week, and it was actually, I think, their first race with their own versions of EV cars. They did hybrids, so it's like a battery powered car, and also they have gas that they can use if the battery runs out or something like that. But they use the batteries mostly. And it worked really, really well. It actually did. It worked out really, really well. A lot of drivers had a lot of fun doing that, it seemed like. Except for Scott Dixon. His car died before the race even started, so he finished like 20 something laps down or something like that. But he did eventually come back out. I don't think he gained any spots because there was no cautions. It's a caution free race. Unreal. I think it was a caution free race. I didn't see the last 8 laps, so it might have been not caution free. I don't know. But overall, I think it was a really, really good endeavor on that front to do that. I really do. So I definitely hope that would come out sooner. Because they're gonna have to kind of incorporate into this next gen car, maybe a little bit something like that. But definitely looks promising. So be pretty cool there. Some other silly season news. There's one that I want to save for when Garry comes back. But Josh Berry's been in the news for a couple of reasons this week. He's got another ride. He is obviously one of the 4 drivers for SHR that are going to be, we're having to be vacant rides next season. We already know that Ryan Preece Chase Briscoe is going to take Martin Truex Jr.'s ride next season. And then one of the drivers is going to stay with SHR. Supposedly, I would assume that's what they're going to do. We don't know that for sure with their Haas factory team ride. And the 3rd spot was just filled for Josh Berry. He is going to go to the Wood Brothers next season. And I think we can safely say this for everybody. Thank God Harrison Burton is not coming back into the 21 next season. He's a bust. Okay, sorry. All the Burtons have been busts except for Jeff Burton. Let's just be real here. No offense to them, but they've not been great. Sorry. But it was not too surprising. I think Josh Berry's he had a rough start to the season, but I think overall he's put on a pretty solid campaign. He had a rough run in Chicago, but he had some good runs before that. Obviously, probably won't make the playoffs unless he wins a race, but he's getting there. And I think moving over to the Wood Brothers with some Penske backing will do some good wonders for him and move him over to a good position going forward. So it'll be interesting to see if Harrison Burton gets another ride. I doubt it. He has not had really any promising runs. He has not done anything good consistently. At least he might have a top 10 finish here and there on like a super speedway track or on like one of those crapshoot races. But as far as actually being competitive and contending for wins, I don't know. And Wood Brothers are going for their 2 or 100th win. And they'd like to win before the next millennium. I mean, they haven't won in 7 years this year. Unless Harrison Burton lucks out with a win, which I guarantee he won't. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But good run for him. Good runs, and should be promising. I think he'll be getting some good backing there with the Wood Brothers, so should be good there, I would say. And then really all I had. Really all I had to talk about, except for one last piece of news. I was gonna wait till Garry came back before we did this, but he's taking a while. He might be doing his laundry. I don't know why he's doing laundry, but maybe not. I don't know. He didn't tell me what he was doing. So there was a whole thing going down last week with Hailie Deegan not racing the street race. Joey Logano filling in. We're like, what the hell? What's going on here? Is she injured? Is she sick? What's going to happen? Well, we figured it out. Hailie Deegan was released, or her and her team AM Racing parted ways, as it was to say. She was probably released, or she quit. But I don't see why she would quit. Now this is kind of shocking, seeing the fact that this is kind of shocking because you wouldn't. Hey, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, Hailie Deegan's not good, but she's not. Her equipment's pretty ass as well. So out. Her equipment sucks, basically. As we saw in the street race, Joey Logano was in that car. He did not run well. Granted, he did not run well in the cup race either, like I said, but so it's going to be interesting to see, like, is she going to get another ride? I mean, she was the only female driver left at the time of release. Right now, there's no female drivers in the top 3 divisions now at all. So what's going to happen there? I mean, she's obviously, but she has not done well. And her attitude, and everything about that has not been good. And she definitely doesn't have as good of a reputation anymore. I think she had some talent. I think she had some potential, but she kind of squandered it. Sadly, it's not really much else to say. As far as her ride, Josh Berry is taking over this weekend at Pocono. So that's the other big piece where he will be coming in. But so that's good. But as far as otherwise, I mean, we don't know. There's no good prospects lining up for her. Will she go back to trucks? Will she go to another Xfinity ride? Will she lose all of it? Who knows? And we don't really know the reason why they parted ways. I thought she was bringing in good sponsorship. Apparently that wasn't the case. I think she lost her Monster Energy sponsorship. So maybe it was an issue, an issue of sponsors. Maybe it was an issue that Deegan wasn't happy with the team and she left on her own. The team wasn't happy with her performances and they kicked her to the curb. Who knows? We probably aren't going to know most or any of that information, but still sucks. So, well, for her. Probably for AM Racing, too, because they're not really seemingly in that good of a position. So, yeah. So that's really all I had, though, for news this week. Total. I mean, all I gotta do now is preview Pocono. Yo. I got my Ty Dillon shirt on from Bristol last year that I'm still wearing. Because classic. And Hitmaster's back. Perfect timing.
Sorry about that. All right, where are we?
I was running out of stuff to talk about, so we were perfect timing.
It's gonna be so weird just watching the video and just seeing Tyler just talk.
So I want to get your reactions to a couple of things. Number one, did you see the new EV car that was unveiled at the street course?
Next question. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Because everything I say is going to be how NASCAR is going to be dead, and we're probably going to be stopping episodes at episode 200 when they come out, and we have to watch them race around the track. Because that's
Okay.
when I'll stop watching NASCAR.
All right. I've got some devastating news, Garry.
That.
So you know how Joey Logano filled in for Haley Deegan at Chicago Street Course?
Yes, and Haley Deegan would have done better than Joey Logano, but continue.
Well, the reason why she didn't race it is because she lost her ride.
Maybe she's doing a Danica Patrick. She'll go to
gone.
the IndyCar.
She's gone.
Maybe she'll go to Indy.
That's it. That's it for news. But anyways, otherwise, preview Pocono. I think all three are racing this weekend. Let's let's give it a check. Give it a check. Give it a check. Yep, all three are racing this weekend. Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. Ooh, trucks are starting at 5:30. Ooh, that's not going to work out well. I already know now. Anyway, so who do we got for trucks? Who do you think is going to win Pocono trucks?
I'm going to go with Daniel Dye.
Ow. I'm going to go Christian Eckes again. I think I picked him last week, but I'm picking him again. I didn't pick him last week because there wasn't no truck race last week. So I think the last time we picked trucks, I did Christian Eckes.
It was at Nashville. All right. Xfinity.
Xfinity Series. I'm going Sam Mayer.
Haley Deegan.
You can't pick Haley Deegan. She doesn't have a ride.
Haley Deegan.
Invalid pick. Chandler Smith. Okay. At least you picked an active driver. And then we have the Cup race. High speed track Pocono is. Very, very high speed. Long fuel runs. We know what to expect. It's Pocono. So let's get down to our picks.
Push for you. Watch, I'm going to be picking Kyle Larson again. No, I picked your pick from last week.
Ryan Blaney. Better than Kyle Busch right now, huh?
Wow, I think this is a sign that I shouldn't pick Ryan Blaney. McLaren health. I think it's bad for my health.
You know, it probably is. But we do it anyways.
Watch, Ryan Blaney's gonna freaking crash on the first lap. I'm calling it.
That would be funny. Anyway, I'm tired. So that's going to do it, though, for this week's episode of the Talk and Ask Our podcast. Next week, we will recap the events at Pocono. I'll talk about my experience at the new track we're going to, Owasso Speedway, and we will preview Indianapolis Raceway Park / Indianapolis. So should be all good there. But if you want to, so that's going to do it though for the rest of this episode. If you want to be a guest though on the Talk and NASCAR podcast, all you got to do is join the Pringleson and Company Discord. Link is in the description down below. Request the Talk and NASCAR role. Me or Hitmaster will figure out a time to get you on and talk some NASCAR. Anyways, that's going to do it though for this video. So stay tuned for much more amazing content from both me and Hitmaster. Till next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.